Hello, and welcome to Weed and Grub.
It's 8:18, so I can hit record.
I just found out something I never knew about you, Mike.
What?
That you don't like the number 17.
Oh, I hate 17.
Weird.
I hate 7. It is out of the infinite number of numbers there are, 17 is the devil.
Why do you feel... I want to know more. Say more.
I think, like, if I had synesthesia, it would look like hell to me. It's like, there was a time when I was in like 3rd or 4th grade, and I think I was at Tracy Fishbein's bat mitzvah.
Okay.
And there was something where you had to guess a number between 1 and 100 to win a prize at the bat mitzvah. Mm-hmm. And I thought the number 17. I didn't have the guts to yell it out when everyone else was yelling things because I'm not a big yeller.
Right.
And it was 17, and I lost the gift.
Uh-huh.
And so not only have I never forgiven myself, but also I cursed the number 17 in that moment. And ever since then, whenever a 17 pops up, like, it's never really done me any favors.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So 17 is a prime number.
Yes.
Right? I've never thought a lot about it. I don't really remember being 17 super well. I don't really have any attachment to the number. Like, I don't have any feelings one way or another about it. Do you have numbers that you really like, that you gravitate towards?
Yeah, well, before this, when I said, is it okay if we start on 8:18, you were like, yeah, but we should talk about the 18 on the pod. Uh-huh. So what is the 18 for you?
Well, 18 is just 9, right? Because it's 1 plus 8. And 9 is one of my favorite numbers. I've always loved 9s and 3s.
9s and, oh, sure.
Yeah, I dig 9s and 3s. And you're a 3s guy, right?
Yeah, because if you put a 3 in a mirror and they kiss, that's an 8.
Do you know what your number is?
33.
But your numerological, because my friend Lucy just told me, and I never knew this, my number is 5, which is all of the digits of my birthday. My birthday, month, and year all added up together, and then, boiled down to its essence is a 5. I'm a 5. Do you know what you are?
33. I'm one of the power numbers. My mom and dad. No, who gave me the book? I got a numerology book when I lived in Chicago, and when I was bartending at Second City, I would bring the book into the back bar, and I would read everyone's numerology charts while we would have the downtime between rushes at Second City, and so we all knew our numerology charts. And my hockey number growing up was 33. My email has a 33, and then it turns out that my numerology number is 33.
But 3 plus 3 is 6.
Right, but in numerology, if it's 11, 22, or 33, those are standalone structures outside of the adding those numbers together situation.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I did not know this.
So before I even knew that was my thing, it's always been my thing.
Okay.
Yeah, but 17, a curse upon it. But what's 5 mean? Do you know what 5 means?
I will look it up right now because she told me a bunch of stuff, and then just like it does always with me, it slides right out of my head. Like, people have read my charts so many times and told me all of the stuff about my sun and rising and moon and star, and it literally leaks out my ear. Supposedly, number 5 represents very beautiful people who have a charismatic aura, who are quite fun-loving, zealous, and cheerful, which is why people love to be around and spend time with them.
Did you write this?
I just read that off the first Google hit that I got out of 20,160,000,000 results in 0.063 seconds. Mm-hmm. That was the first one. So I'm going to go with it.
Yeah, that's the one. Don't question Google.
Just one step down. It says, the number 5 usually indicates someone who is full of energy but unable to channel it responsibly.
Well, I would go with that second result as well.
That's a little caveat. Yes, I sometimes do have trouble making great choices, but not always. And I'm fairly responsible and I'm very productive. So
true.
I'm going to go with the beautiful, fun-loving, zealous, and cheerful.
And sometimes scattershot in the most fun way imaginable.
Absolutely. You never knew you were going to have the adventure that you have with me until you're fucking having it, and it's too damn late.
And also no regrets on it. I will say, every time you've been like, this is what we're doing and here's why we're doing it.
Yeah.
By the time I'm saying okay, you're already throwing me into the swirl of that experience.
You're already on Zuma Beach at 2 a.m.
Fucking right. And great.
Yeah.
I'm better for it. So
Thank
what
you.
up, Mary Jane?
How's it going, Mike?
So good. Welcome to Weed and Grub, everyone. This is a podcast about comedy,
Cannabis,
culture,
cooking,
calling shit out,
and pride.
Pride.
Yep.
Yeah, in a lot of different layers to that, right?
Yes. Happy
Yeah.
Pride Month, everyone. It is the best, most bright, beautiful month of the year, which belongs to all of our friends in the fucking queer community. And I'm so excited to just, celebrate all of you all month long.
Shout out to my brother. Shout out to his husband, Matthew and Patrick. I love you both.
Yeah.
Keep it simple. Keep it clean. That's just what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I do want to say, because this is our 301st episode,
Yes.
we may as well go back to the beginning with how we started with this podcast. There's no video this week on YouTube because, just like our first episode, we're kind of back in your living room
Yep.
recording with our old equipment because we were both out of town, and so we weren't able to schedule in studio for this episode. So we will be back on YouTube next week with video, smoking, hanging, snacking with a really cool guest.
But for now, we are a Loose Moose coming to you from West Hollywood with Archie and Bobo in residence. And just hanging out for a moose this week until, like you say, we can get back into our studio. And God, please help us. Come back, Mark.
Yeah,
Where are
Mark.
you? We need you.
I think he wasn't busy. I think
Yeah.
he just needed us to know how fucking important he is to us by saying, I can't make it this week.
Yeah, so sorry. You're going to have to swim with the sharks again for a minute and remember how great it is to actually have all the help that he gives us. So thank you, Mark. And we miss you.
Yeah. So we have a lot of topics to cover this week. Do
Okay.
you want to talk more about Pride? Do you want to talk about Montreal while I eat some of your Canadian chocolate? Where do you want to go first?
I don't know. That all sounds very scheduled and serious, but definitely I would love to talk about Montreal.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know
What?
why it's all scheduled and serious for me?
Why is that?
And why I'm all disciplined?
Yeah.
It's because it's dry June for me.
Right.
And so because I was on the road for the past 2 months touring, stand-upping, partying.
Uh-huh.
I mean, whiskey galore, vodka for days, weed, edibles, tinctures, dabs, a little bit of mushroom, a lot of the time. You know what I mean? And so I was like, yo, got to give the bot a break.
Yep.
It's dry June.
Yes.
And a part of being completely sober and clear on a tolerance break, on an alcohol break, on an everything break is now I'm like, well, let's plan the minutes.
Okay, are we going to talk about Montreal right now, and then we'll get to the news, and then we will. So it's not a loose moose; it's a tight elk. With Mike, who is on his tolerance break for the month, everything is pretty rigid over here. It's pretty structured without the weed part. We've got the grub, we've got the snacks.
Yeah.
But here we
It's
are
a real
doing
tight elk.
We're doing a tight elk. So we can talk about Montreal, where I was not a tight elk. I was very loosey-goosey all over that city.
It looked fucking amazing. The food game in Montreal, I had no idea.
Oh my God. Everything in Montreal. The vibe of that entire city is just so fucking juicy and sexy and, you know what? Funded. The arts.
yeah.
The first night I got there. So I went to theater school in Montreal. My best friend Allison lives in Montreal. And I was I had to decompress after Newfoundland. So I did a 3-day stopover and she just put out every fucking red carpet for me. She took me to every amazing place to eat and all of her cool friends. We all hung out in various ways doing cool stuff and it was awesome. But the first thing she did, she picked me up from the airport and we went and had this incredible meal of this crazy mortadella sandwich with some burrata pasta. I don't know. And then we had to walk it off and we walked down to Place des Arts, which was at the center of a festival because Montreal in summer is festival time. There's the jazz festival and the fireworks festival and the blues festival and the comedy festival and the fucking, theater festival. And this was a festival called the Festival des Arts Transamérique, I think. I'm not sure. I'm getting it wrong. But there was this big piece that was at the center of it that was free for everyone. And the whole square was just packed full, all ages, watching this piece take place that was called Holocene, that was a comment on climate change. And it was this huge tank that just kept filling up and emptying with water. And these performers were inside this tank just interacting with various aspects of daily life. So the first person was just sort of cleaning, and she was had a kerchief tied around her head and a bucket and a mop. And she was just sort of doing some cleaning. And then the whole thing flooded. And then she was swirling and swimming and tumbling and it just kept emptying and filling. We were watching her do this sort of ballet. And then when she finished, the next person came in and he had a garden hose and he was tangled up in it and fighting with it. And it was flooding and emptying. And it was really moving and beautiful and somewhere kind of between like a theatrical installation and an actual piece of like narrative theater and dance. But the coolest thing for me was just sitting in this kind of like quietly reverent square packed with people all just there to see this art without anyone being on their phone or taking selfies in front of it. Like the arts audience in Montreal just feels different because they are accustomed to art all the time, because the arts are so funded there and they're just always happening. It just felt exciting, and it like rekindled my fire for that kind of work in a really deep way.
I was just gonna say, it sounds like it lit a flame inside you.
It did. You know, I feel like that flame is like on a low burn sometimes, especially like, it's funny because the LA is so full of incredible people making cool shit all the time, but then everyone here is also working so hard that it can feel a little ground down, you know, like it can feel a little stressed and stretched. And that just felt like, I don't know, I don't even know how to describe it.
Did you like that piece of art? Like, it sounds to me like a huge vat that is filling and unfilling with water while somebody is ironing. Sounds like it has so many levels to it that I'm like, oh, that is a perfect, simple idea that shows an entire world of like thought behind it.
It was very beautiful, and it was also I felt a little disconnected from it. Like Allison's an incredible director, and we were talking about how, you know, part of it was like, oh, it's really interesting to look at, but then something you're left a little wanting to, you know, have a little more struggle or conflict or story within what was happening. But then the piece was 5 hours long, and I only saw like the first hour and a half of it, so I'm not sure how I didn't stay for the full 5 hours, so I can't speak about the whole piece. But I admired it greatly. I admired that these actors were in this water, sort of interacting with their environment in this really fucking cool way. And I don't know, I just want to make stuff, and I want to be in stuff and around stuff and supporting people who are making stuff. So, you know, that plus Everything Everywhere All at Once, those two pieces sort of bookended, because I saw that movie Everything Everywhere All at Once with you right before I left for Newfoundland, and then that piece was in Montreal right before I came back. So I feel like there's just fucking hope for me in the world with great art being made, you know?
100%. And I would also say Roxanne Gay, for anyone listening who fancies themselves a writer, she just posted that she is taking submissions through Roxanne Gay Books for unagented writers who are looking to submit for short stories, poems, anything for funding, for grants, when it comes to any type of writing, for any idea behind it.
Fuck yes.
Hit up Roxanne, former guest of the show, because she is looking for new voices right now.
Get around the gatekeepers. Fuck yes.
Yo, get around the fucking gate. You know, this might be a tight elk, but we're still here to demolish the system.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like I think, you know, one of the reasons that I love getting high with you and just doing stuff is that like it fills up my soul and restores me to the place that I feel like I'm happiest, which is, you know, thinking about things in a creative way. And, you know, seeing great art is the ultimate thing that it really helps me do that, you know, and like think about the world in ways that I need to.
Yeah, I understand that, but I think the hardest thing to do is start, and then the hardest thing to do is keep going.
Right.
And then the hardest thing to do is finish it.
You just said the hardest thing is 3 different things.
Right. And it's all hard.
Right.
But you got to start, right?
Start what?
Any piece of art. Anything that's like
start
burning
making,
inside you. Yeah. Like it might not be what you thought it was gonna be, but it will end up exactly how it should be. Right. And I think that how can I say it? Something I'm noticing, because it feels like America is only being filled up with water right now, and everyone is swirling all the time. There is no like rescinding of that tide. It's hard to start anything.
Yeah, well, great point. Yeah, I mean, everyone I love is who makes things. When I look at all of their things that they're making, their reactions to all the shitty stuff that's happening right now. But that's, you know, that's just what we're all having to make, because stuff is shitty, and that's just as important as, you know, making beautiful things that are pretty and fun to look at.
Right.
So.
Man, do you remember when Trump got elected?
No.
Oh, yeah. Moving on.
What are you talking about, Mike? I know, I remember it so well because it was the same night that weed was made legal in California.
Yeah.
So sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, but I feel it. I remember when I was on Twitter, I unfollowed like 20 plus people who were all like, this might be the worst time, but the art that's going to come out of it is going to be incredible. And I was like, shut the fuck up.
Fuck you.
And none of them have made any art. I've checked up on them. Nah, they ain't making shit. They're just, out there like the rest of us. So anyway.
It's a weird way to try and paint a silver lining on the outside of the terrible clouds that's approaching and going to destroy your homes. You're like, but the art that's going to come out of it.
It's like throwing glitter in a tornado, huh?
But the art.
You're getting sucked up into the eye of the tornado and you're like, I look fabulous.
I look amazing. The art.
Hey, speaking of everything everywhere all at once, something I wanted to share with you while you were out of town and I had a couple of days back here in LA, I went to a handful of movies and just sat in my corner seat.
Yep.
I saw the Top Gun premiere and brought a bunch of Select edibles. Shout out to Select. Really good edible. Fast acting, powerful punch. And I also saw the Doctor Strange movie and brought a vape. I can't remember. Capetta gave it to me. No wonder I can't remember it because it's good.
Yeah.
But what I've noticed with movies right now, because they're all like 5.5 hours long, they're also on stoner time, which I'm fucking loving because I was late to every movie, but there's a half hour of commercials, some Amazon Prime show that nobody's ever going to watch that
really
you've
long
got to like do.
Nicole Kidman commercial where you have to watch her walk around in a sparkly pantsuit and be like, movies are amazing. Don't you agree? They're so amazing.
I don't want anyone in the theater with me for this commercial. I'm going to sit alone. The way movies are intended to be watched.
Yes. Look at me in my amazing pantsuit talking to all of you people about how amazing everything is.
Get me out of here. And I just like went to see like an 8:30 movie. I rolled in at 8:40. Movie didn't start till 9:15, and I was like, thank you, AMC, for starting your movies on stoner time.
Okay.
I'm much appreciation to the 3-hour commitment I have to make, and I can be late as fuck, and I can bring all my snacks.
Yeah.
And whenever I get there, I'm not missing anything yet.
Stoner time.
Stoner time.
I appreciate that. I did not watch any movies on stoner time while I was away, but I did have a stoned viewing experience that I will share with you. So I'd been with my mom all day, which is, I needed some weed after that, and I'd stowed some the last time I was at home. I'd gone to a dispensary in my hometown, and I'd bought some beverages, like canned. There was a houseplant drink and then some other drink. And so I had a couple of drinks that were THC infused and they'd kept. It was great. So I drank those and I was back at my Airbnb and I was like, I'm going to unwind and just watch like a nature documentary. And I chose a documentary narrated by Sir David Attenborough that was about the Arctic. And I should have known, nothing's going well right now. Climate change is a real fucking mess, and nobody's having a good time in the Arctic. And it ended with one of the worst scenes that I have ever seen, with walruses who basically have to all clamber onto this one bare patch of rock, and they're fighting for space. And some of them are like climbing way up too high on the rock, and then they're doing like fucking Midsommar style jumping off the rock and crashing these walrus and it shows this. I mean, they have to show this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it's really,
because there's not enough. Because of climate change, right? Because
yes.
there's not enough land.
Space, and these walruses and this is happening evidently all over the Arctic. And it was so intense, and I was holding a pillow, screaming, I think. And anyway, after that ended, I was oh God, and so I watched Happy Madison to take the pain away.
Yes,
listen. I mean, there's a bunch of sexist bullshit about that movie, but fuck, it's funny. And it's
great.
So good. Thank you, Adam Sandler, for giving me 98 minutes of relief after I watched a bunch of walruses, basically. Anyway, I don't need to go on about it, but it was very, very painful.
But
and
I
was
think
like,
you're absolutely
Happy
right.
Madison.
Yeah. Anytime something traumatic happens, just turn on Sandler and he can go, whoa, boobada, and you're like, thank you, buddy.
Soothed my stoned brain, and
Yeah.
I was able to actually sleep that night. Yeah.
Man, yeah, when he takes those hockey slap shot golf swings.
I mean, he gets beaten to shit by Bob Barker. It's
That's right.
Fantastic.
Thank you for that warning about that documentary.
Oh, it's we need to be watching this stuff, and it's very fucking important to pay attention to. So, not trying to say don't watch it, but just be, have a pillow to hug and a dog to pet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
But as two people who have familial problems.
Sure.
It's not the unwind you're looking for.
Not like don't spend a day with your mom and then watch that. If you have you're not.
Have you guys seen the new Praying Mantis documentary? I just want to watch something and see some nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. That's a comforting one. She eats him at the end, I think. She fucks them and then she eats them.
Wow.
Great.
And it's, is that another mom doc?
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, that's a sex doc.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, the mom docs are, I don't even know. I'm sure there are problematic moms in nature.
Do you think those males know that they're going to get eaten at the end? They've got to by now. It's got to be generational trauma, right?
You think the word is out?
I think the word's got to be out. If you're like, "Where's Dan?" and it's like, "Yo, Betty ate him."
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna be a little like, I don't care how horny I am.
Right. You're not doing it?
I'm not sticking it in to then get ate.
You would be a celibate praying mantis.
I'd be an incel mantis.
An incel mantis. Okay.
Of course.
Okay. Do you know Logan's Run? Did you ever come across that sci-fi?
I've never heard of it.
Before your time.
Yeah.
Movie, book first, then movie. Kind of not great movie. Very fucking weird book. But cult favorite, fan favorite, where you ascend to like the next level or whatever when you're a certain age. I think it's 30 maybe. And basically, they're killing you. Like they're, once you get to a certain age, they off you so that like, it keeps the society super, super young. And you have this like glowing stone, I think, implanted in your hand or something that changes the color. And then when it's like a certain color, you have to go to the ceremony. I'm totally fucking butchering this. And anyone who knows Logan's Run is screaming right now. But they don't know. I mean, nobody knows. They all think that like they've got them fooled, right? So They all think like they're going. So maybe that's it. Like all the praying mantises are like, oh yeah, man, like you're gonna do it, and then you're gonna like go to the like next level, and it's really cool. And they don't know that they're just gonna like get eaten. Right?
And then their head gets ripped off by two fucking guillotine claws. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I bet you're right.
Maybe.
I bet you there's like some kind of mantis heaven.
Yeah.
That has been propagated by like the whoever is who's the government of the bug world. Probably moths.
Yeah, maybe bees. Someone with wings.
Someone with wings. Mm-hmm. Yeah, somebody who can oversee.
Sure.
For sure. Oh, I bet you're so right.
Yeah, they've propagandized it. So they're like, no, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be like Valhalla. You're gonna get a bunch of virgins and constant feasts.
And all of the females are like, I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut. Y'all can think whatever you want to think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I'm hungry. I'm horny. And let's go. That's awesome. In that case, I definitely would fall for it.
Yeah.
There's no way I wouldn't.
I know. I know.
Oh, can I say one more thing about my movie experience?
Yes.
I was so high on those select gummies, and the popcorn at the theater I was at, it doesn't matter the name because if you don't live in LA, it's not going to be cool. But the popcorn was all the kernels where it has like the round butt and then the flowery top to it. Do you know what I mean by that? Like where it's like the kernel has the roundness at the bottom and the pop is at the top. And I pulled so many perfect, I was so high. I pulled so many perfect handfuls of popcorn triangulation where it was the perfect handful and all of the pieces fit together like math, and it fit perfectly in my mouth, and every single pull was like perfect triangulation on the popcorn. And I have been waiting to share that with you for like weeks now because it was so satisfying.
Weird. Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Not at all.
You don't?
It sounds
Okay.
totally strange to me. I have no idea. I
How do you eat popcorn?
I don't look at it or think about how it fits together in my hand. I just put it in my mouth.
Oh, I play dumb games in my head the whole time where like I'm trying to fit kernels together in like geometric beauty.
Yeah.
No? You just shovel.
Yep.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
I wonder how everyone eats popcorn out there. Like, I wonder if anybody, like, how many fingers do you use when you pull out of the bag? I use either my thumb and first two fingers, or I use all five like a claw machine. And then I try and find these like beautiful pulls where all of the kernels fit tightly together.
Okay.
And then I put them in my mouth, and it's like a really satisfying game that I play with myself while I watch the movie.
Wow.
Not you.
Nope.
I can't be alone. Well, somebody
I feel like you're on some
DM
fucking
us.
popcorn spectrum. Like, I have no idea what you're talking about. You sound completely insane to me.
I do?
Yes, you sound insane. Like, I put my hand in the bag, I pull out a handful, and I put my hand to my mouth like this, and I eat the popcorn. That's how I do. You are truly on some special popcorn fucking, I don't even know.
Can we do an Instagram poll?
Sure.
And I don't even know how the wording would make sense to anyone who
How
hasn't
do you
listened.
eat your popcorn? Everyone's going to be like, what the fuck is this? I mean, how do I eat my popcorn? With my hand into my mouth.
Yeah. Oh man.
Wow. No
Well, I was
idea.
so excited to share that with you, but it's falling on deaf ears.
Yeah, unsympathetic for sure. I don't know what that's about. Like, how do you put on your pants? One leg at a time. I don't know.
Yeah. You know what?
And you're like, no, I lie on my back and I put my legs in the air and then I wiggle my feet until they tippy toe into the ends and then I pull them over my hips and I jump up and I say Shazam. And I'm like, truly, you're the only one on the planet. You're the only one on the planet who does that.
And everyone else is like, yeah, no one puts their pants on like that.
Nobody
dude.
puts their pants on like that. No one thinks about their
I'm in the locker room
Yeah.
laying on my back.
Doing some like weird. I was like, yeah, Mike and his popcorn and the weird way he puts on his pants. He's very strange.
I'm going to start an Instagram account called Popcorn Geometry.
Okay.
And every time I pull out the perfect popcorn, I'm going to snap a pic of it and post it to Popcorn Geometry at Instagram.
I hope I'm wrong. I'm sorry that I'm dunking on it so hard. I've just never heard of such a thing. So
It doesn't mean that it's not cool.
yeah, I'm not saying it's not awesome. I'm just okay.
Can I show you my notes? It says popcorn triangulation in my notes for this episode.
I believe you. I believe you. I fully believe you. I just don't think about eating techniques that much.
Get it.
It's just It's
Yeah. I've had to grow up because I was like an only child for a really long time.
How long?
4 years. The first
Okay.
4 years of my life.
Okay.
And then when my brother came into existence, I was immediately like, still gonna treat it like an only child.
Okay.
Like, you know, look at me, motherfuckers. You know what I mean?
Got
so
it.
I would say I have only child brother syndrome.
Yeah, only-child-itis.
Only-child-itis.
It's so funny because I feel like 4 years isn't that long, but I guess it's long enough for you to be a fully formed human, and then you're like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And not only that, but like for those 4 years, I was, pretty important to my parents.
Sure.
They were
I
pretty
feel like
into me.
You were pretty important after your brother came along, too.
Yeah, for sure I was.
You just felt like slighted.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so like anytime I would say something like popcorn triangulation and
Yeah.
like be into it, these would be the games that I would play in my head to be entertained
Uh-huh.
because I was an only child, or I felt like one for so long. And so my whole life I've just played these like weird little head games inside myself that I've never felt comfortable talking about until I met you.
Yeah.
And now I'm even more uncomfortable. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
But you know what I mean? Like I have all these like weird games that I play in my head, and then I bring them up to someone. And I'm not saying popcorn is a great example of it. I wish I could think of another one, but there are so many times when I'm like, yeah, like, how I do, like we all do this, this, and this. And then somebody's eyes will just go glassy and they'll be like, what the fuck are you talking
Right.
about? And I'm like, oh, I thought that was like a thing that we do as humans.
Right. Like we all agree this is the color blue, and
Right.
we all agree that we do this with how we eat apples or popcorn or
Oh,
whatever it is.
I got one.
Okay.
Yeah. So anytime I walk by someone and they trip, I think that I did that to them with my mind or my beautiful looks.
Okay.
And I'm like, ooh, I got in your energy and I tripped up your energy.
Uh-huh.
Or like if I see somebody across the way and they slip or something like
Mm-hmm.
on the other side of the sidewalk, I always imagine that my energy and presence is the one that knocked them off their rocker because it was too powerful.
That is such a little kid, only-child-itis.
Yeah.
Fucking like, yeah, I matter. Oh, yeah. Look at me. You're all the way over there, but you couldn't walk past me without tripping.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally. Yeah. I do relate. I had only-child-itis, I guess, in a sense, because my sister was 11 years older.
Oh, that's right.
So she probably had super only-child-itis because I showed up when she was 11 and she was like, who the fuck is this? But she loved me so much right away. But then she moved out when I was 5. So then I had basically the rest of my whole time. She like moved out and also very far away. So it was just really me and my house with my folks. And I used to play weird games. One of them was that I could, like way before magic eye posters, if something had a pattern in it, I could focus my eyes to make it 3D. Were you ever able to do that?
That sounds really cool. I've never tried.
I felt like a magic power.
Yes.
Like I could take, if I could stare at wallpaper long enough that had a pattern of roses on it or something, I could pull it off the wallpaper and make it hang in the air between me and the wall.
Is this your imagination?
No, I
creating-
could,
You
I
do
could
it.
actually see it in a 3D way. It was sort of me like relaxing or squeezing the muscles behind my eyes to make an optical illusion for my brain, I guess.
That's really neat.
So I guess I understand the popcorn triangulation a little bit better with you explaining to me how you were playing. Yeah, I get it.
It's like little kid inner child.
I can see weird
games.
wallpaper.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And I support your wallpaper, Mary Jane.
I support your popcorn triangulation, Mike. I'm sorry that I was so dismissive and surprised by it.
Do you want to get to the news?
Yes.
Let's get to the news this week. What did you find?
It is a tight elk news this week from DCist. The Grub Gazette, we are reporting that...
Oh, wait a minute. I just
What?
thought of why I was playing that popcorn game.
Oh, okay.
Because I saw Doctor Strange,
Yes.
and he's always doing his little hand tuts with his like geometric finger magic, and
Okay.
I absolutely know that my subconscious was doing Doctor Strange popcorn triangulation. That is exactly why that fucking shit happened, because Benedict Cumberbatch came
Babadick Cumberbooch?
Boomber-doo Cumberbum. Yeah, Bumbershoot Cumberbun came in and fucking infiltrated my mind.
Okay,
That's
so you
exactly
were
it.
trying to open portals to other realities with your popcorn grabs, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Your stoned brain. You're like, what other reality will I end up in if I get 18 pieces of popcorn all jammed together perfectly? Oh God, if I get 17, I'm really fucked.
I'm done.
Awesome. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we ready for Grub Gazette?
What do you got?
Okay. So this is from DCist, DCist.com, from a great reporter named Martin Ostermule. And the headline is that the DC Council has passed a bill stopping employers from punishing many workers for personal marijuana use. So the DC Council on Tuesday gave unanimous final approval to a bill that largely prohibits employers from punishing, firing, or refusing to hire people who use cannabis or test positive for the drug. It reflects the reality that in many jurisdictions, DC included, that weed may already be legal for recreational and medical use, and that employment laws are just lagging behind. And it's joining places like New Jersey, which adopted similar protections for workers last fall, Nevada, which implemented a version in 2020, and New York State, which last year went one step further and banned all pre-employment testing for marijuana.
Whoa.
Which is awesome. So in 2019, the DC Council had passed legislation protecting government workers, and now this is going to cover any workers in DC, and it will head to Mayor Muriel Bowser and will have to be funded before taking effect, which it's just the next step, but it looks like it's a thing. So if you live and work in DC and you are a cannabis user, either a medical patient or a recreational consumer, you will be protected under DC law.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Which means like you can be open about it as well?
Well, I don't know.
Like, do you think it's okay to just be like, I smoke weed? Or do you think it's like, you can't test me and I can't be fired, so I should just live my life?
Yeah, I mean, I think it says that it will prohibit employers from punishing, firing, or refusing to hire people who use or test positive for cannabis. So hopefully
Great.
this means that you'll be able to be open about your use of cannabis. That would be fucking awesome.
It would.
But, as an employment law goes, like at the very least, it'll offer protection to people. Should they be applying for a job, they won't be able to be refused because of their, if they're testing for drugs or whatever, because of their cannabis use.
Huge. And I also think there was a article we read on here about if you're a cop in some city or state and you're
Jersey.
off duty, that is New Jersey. And
New Jersey off-duty police officers were promised protection for, personal use on their personal time. But then there was some pushback against that. So I guess we should look into that, because I know that there were some, officials who came out against it, and they were like, how can we possibly say this?
Of course. I mean, there's always going to be pushback. I think that the exciting thing about this too is that there's another article that maybe we'll touch on in a future episode about the Biden administration trying to clarify their questioning upcoming interns in interviews about cannabis use, because they were like, we're going to legalize cannabis. And then they fired all those fucking interns for being open about their cannabis use. And then they were like, ugh.
Yeah.
And now, because the midterms are coming, they're really trying to figure out what their position actually is and clarify it. And so there's a lot of wishy-washy bullshit coming out of the top. So it's very cool at state levels that people are just making choices.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of flipping and flopping and squipping and squirming in this midterm election year. So let's pay attention and keep all of those officials, accountable and air them out if they're not doing the right thing. I am wearing my sticker today because I just voted in the California primaries, and I'm really looking forward to voting again in the fucking midterms. And I hope that everyone listening is registered to vote.
Absolutely. And if you live in a state where cannabis is not legal yet, I'm doing dry June. I got clear pee. Hit me up. I will mail you my piss, and then you can smoke for days.
Gross.
Let me know. I'm doing what's a good OnlyFans for that? No. I don't.
Nope.
Never mind. Nope. That's
Nope.
where you take videos of it.
Yep.
Hit me up.
Yeah. I just want to say too, under this bill, there are some significant exceptions. It doesn't apply to employees who are caught using or possessing marijuana on the clock. It doesn't apply to anyone who works for the federal government or federal contracts, obviously, because weed is still illegal under federal law. So that's fucking unfortunate. It doesn't apply to workers in safety sensitive positions like police or security guards, construction and utility workers. And it doesn't apply to people who are caregivers.
I think that's so reasonable, to be honest. At least on the clock, right?
I mean, it should have, like, if you are using cannabis, if you're a medical patient and you're using it just like you would use any other prescription, like Xanax or benzodiazepines or fucking opiates for pain or, heart medication, like all of the things that people do use cannabis for to control as medicine. You can use cannabis and be a construction worker if you're using it in that way, just like you would use an opiate for your fucking back pain.
Right.
So
I guess
there's
you're
a long
really
way to go.
making me ask the question, though, about like if I wanted to hire a caretaker to take care of my like elderly parents who are in a home.
Right.
Or construction worker who's using that bulldozer outside of my place.
Right.
Like off the clock. Yeah, all day, every day. Mm-hmm. But off the clock is, I think, what I'm saying.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But the tricky thing is back pain and all those things. That's a 24-hour deal that somebody is popping something for to work.
Yeah, I take a Klonopin in order to stay calm in my very high stress job dealing with seniors who have dementia, for instance, or whatever it is. I don't know because obviously I don't work in those fields, but I just think there's that interesting gray area of cannabis use that, as we continue to move towards legalization at a state and federal level, that we continue to do the research on, what it means to use cannabis responsibly in a way where you can still perform all of the duties that you're doing on the clock and off.
Yeah. And through that research, maybe because that does seem like a long-term and short-term solution, that's when we can start isolating different things within the plant where maybe you can have non-psychoactive back pain relief. Capsules, right? Like that would be.
Yeah, I think it's a really tricky topic, though, to start saying, like, because there are a lot of bills that do come online where they're like, well, we'll just make it not psychoactive, and that'll be fine. And THC is the psychoactive component, and it is so crucial to activate some of the other cannabinoids for maximum benefits. So I don't know. It's a slippery slope to have the conversation where you're like, we'll just take this THC out of it and then it'll be safe.
Right. And that also allows people to like pass like micro legalization. You're dismantling something that has big sweeping like positive implications.
Right.
And then you're dismantling it to like pick and choose little things instead of addressing the whole.
Right. And talking about it as like holistic plant medicine.
Yeah.
You can take part of it, but not all of it. I don't know. It's just interesting to keep following. But this is great news out of DC about this bill that's going to protect workers.
Absolutely. And hey, hit me up for that pee. I got quart deals, I got pint deals, and I got like vial deals, which is just a little squirt.
Great.
Yep. Free shipping. Cool, Mary Jane. What else is happening?
I'm gonna let you just sit with that. You take it next. Whatever you want to talk about, go on.
I had some amazing pizza in Vail, and I just want to shout out Colorado for a second because it was my first time ever there. I'd never been there before, and actually, we're going to talk about Colorado at the end for my butt of the week this week. Okay. But I just want to shout out all of Colorado and the Vail Comedy Festival.
Just the whole state?
The whole goddamn state. Every corner, every inch.
First to legalize along with Washington in 2012.
There you fucking go. Mm-hmm. And it was so cool to tour around. I performed in Denver, Colorado Springs, and Fort Worth, and then flew back here and then did the Vail Comedy Festival. And Vail was like beautiful and weird because it's this little bubble that it feels like a wealthy mall. I don't know how else to describe it.
Super wealthy town, right?
Yeah, with terrible art. Like the kind of art where there was a Marilyn Monroe print in a very big fancy frame for $150,000.
Yay.
Right?
Yay.
And it was like fake pop art Andy Warhol, Marilyn Monroe.
Sure.
For somebody to put in their place.
Right. Where did you see this?
In Vail at one of the art galleries there. So, you know what it is? It's got to be a money laundering thing, or however that shit works in shows like Billions and Succession, where you like have to buy a piece of shitty art to not pay taxes.
Sure.
That's got to be what it is.
Right?
Totally.
Yeah. Rich people just like use art as the commodity to just move their money around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who cares if it's Marilyn or Warhol, whatever.
Here's $2 million for your bad sculpture of a balloon dog.
Yeah, exactly. That was it. There was like a weird geode that looked like it weighed half a ton, and it was like $1 million. And it was like, who's buying that? Who's like flying to Vail and being like, okay, but if they do have a geode, I think we should talk about it.
Right.
I think we should really consider a large geode for the foyer.
Yep.
It's there in Vail if you want it. Fucking
Great.
yeah. But it was such a great time, and also shout out to Chuck Warner, who is the founder of Cannabis and Tech Today and Innovation, and he came to watch me perform. He came to celebrate the whole festival. He might be involved in the future. Go Tampa Bay Lightning as we record this, because they're in the conference finals, possibly going to the Cup, and he's a big Tampa fan, and I fuck with Tampa too ever since they had Martin San Luis, and yeah, it was just great to see Chuck. And if you're a comedian and you listen to this and you're looking for a really great festival to be a part of next year, Vail Comedy Festival does it right. They put us up for free. They took care of all of us. And the pizza was thin.
Okay.
The sauce was spicy and sweet. The cheese was pulley. And it was available until 2 a.m.
Oh, see, that's key. LA is such an early town. Nothing available after like 10 o'clock. You got to have the 2 a.m. pizza
Crazy.
available, especially in a ski town where you can get great weed.
Yeah.
Like the best weed in the country, arguably. Colorado versus California. I think a lot of people would come down on the Colorado side.
I'm leaning that way. Everything in Vail, I brought all my own stuff to share with everybody.
Right, who can afford the weed in Vail?
Yeah, it's the price of the art. It's another way to move your rich money around.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. yeah. An ounce in Vail is $3 million.
Yeah, great.
Cash only. Yeah. But yeah, the weed in Colorado was fucking great, and I didn't know what to expect because I don't know, man. You know, I don't want to be an elitist, snobby dude, but I really do love weed. And when I try it, I always just want to say that it's great no matter what, because I'm high with people I like. But it was fucking great.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Good.
And then, yeah, like you said, like the problem with LA, or probably a lot of places, is like you almost have to buy a pre-meal, late-night meal for your munchy situation.
Yeah, not in Montreal, I'll tell you that much.
Really?
That place is going all the fucking time.
Could I get like 2 a.m. poutine there?
You can get 4 a.m. poutine. They are actually floating legislation to keep places open all night. You can go to a bar at 6 a.m, roll out and get a fucking, smoked meat sandwich at the deli across the street. Oh, Montreal is it.
I was like in LA, I'm like a hamster. I'm like putting pepperoni in my lip like it's dip to like save it for later.
Yeah, because you're like, oh God, it's 8:30 and everything's shut down. Fuck. I will say, just to go back to Montreal for a second, the weed scene in Montreal, I was so happy to see a friend of mine who I talked to a long time ago when I was doing a High Times article about the Canadian cannabis market, and he was a weed dealer. And I interviewed him and I was like, what do you think is going to happen when everything goes legal, which in Canada happened in 2019. And at the time he was like, it's going to be fine. The black market's going to thrive. I'm not worried at all. And I saw him and he was like, yo, I was so wrong. The Canadian cannabis market has totally crushed the legacy market. He was like, any of my friends who were in it just doing their own thing are out of the business. There was no way for them to make any money. And now everything is operated through this province. Everything in Canada is run at the province level, the provincial level, which is akin to the state level in the US. And it's run through sort of similar to a liquor store. So you actually need to go to this like provincial weed store and you go in. I went to one and it's very tightly regulated, not much fun at all, very much like a pharmacy experience. And they had like some pretty good options, and I bought some edibles and some tea bags and a little bit of flour, but none of it was great. None of it was super potent. I couldn't check it out before I left the dispensary. I wasn't thrilled with my legal weed experience, and I was excited about it being like accessible, and like I just walked in off the street and I didn't need a medical recommendation, and all that kind of stuff is fucking awesome. But as far as the actual weed goes, it was kind of bunk.
Fucking bummer.
So super bummer. So I hope they sort that out in Montreal. But you know, it was definitely great to have like late night food with legal weed.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Absolutely.
You know?
You're making me wonder, like, would I take, because I don't know. We're not at a point in this country of being like, I'll take what I can get. Like,
right.
we're on our way up. Like, we are dismantling, we are climbing, we are breaking down, we are winning at like step by step, increment by increment.
Right.
But like if that was available to me, would I just slowly take what I can get and go in and not overthink it and have a great time and move on with my life?
I think that's how most people feel about it. And it's sort of like it leaves the people who really love cannabis a bit at a loss, because a lot of the people who are like, I'll just kind of take what I can get, are the people who are like, your average consumer who doesn't really care that much about, terpene and cannabinoid profiles, or, they're like not connoisseurs, right?
Right.
But like the people who really do care, who want to get their nose into it and then, revel in the experience and really like write down notes about all of the different, the ways that they're tasting that weed. They're not going to have a great time with the current Canadian situation. And I will say that like the more I hear about legal cannabis in that sense, like grown by huge companies, like the Canadian cannabis companies are just fucking behemoths, and a lot of them are investing in the US market now.
Like Canopy and places like that. Yeah,
and Aurora. And so I think that model will probably come to the US, especially with federal legalization. And the same thing will happen on the US market. And I'm not a fan, like, remember when we were talking to Chef Roy Choi about monoculture and how dangerous it is that, the genetic pool, when big ag comes in, it really takes out like the small craft farmers who are growing like the heirloom genetics.
Right.
Same thing is going to happen to weed. So, we need to make sure that the craft cannabis farmers are still protected and that we all have the right to grow our own. And we bang this drum on here all the time, but like, we don't want big weed to come in and take out all of the fucking awesomeness of the little guys.
100%. Yo, that is exactly why. Let's go to New York.
Yeah.
Let's go back to that place that will remain nameless, where they were pulling out old school single popped seed from a go that has been pure, and they're like, smell this, taste that, smoke this, and it was like nerd weed shit that was like you said, not monoculture, but like deep
the opposite
preservation
of
historic strains that are not going to get monocultured, as long as there's people out there like blank and blank and also blank at that place in blank New York blank.
You're just trying to sound cool.
No, I'm not. I just don't want to I don't want anyone who's not cool to make things not cool.
Sure.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
I'm sober. It's hard. This is a tight elk, Mary Jane.
It's a tight elk.
I wish I was so fucking high right now.
Yeah.
I wish I was high. I wish that after this I was going to have a glass of wine and a hamburger and some fries and some kind of like dip situation. And I'm really going to try and be disciplined for this next 30 days.
Yeah.
But what is it? The 7th?
Yep.
Okay. So it's been 1 week.
Okay.
It's been. And I'll take it. I'm going to break. You know how I have to do Dry June?
Yeah.
I got to break it into 1 episode down, 3 to go.
Right.
That's the way that I'll get through this.
Good call.
Yeah.
Also, what's going to happen at the end of that month. Your tolerance is going to be fucking, you're going to have like, you're going to smoke one joint and you're going to be like a kid.
Oh, that's going to be awesome.
You'll be floating around on little clouds going, wee, wee. I'll give you a 10 milligram edible and I'll be like, here's the couch. And you'll be like, ah, la, 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 la. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, wait. So then when I break Dry June, can we record an episode that day?
Yeah, absolutely.
And see how it goes?
July 1st?
July 1st.
That's Canada Day.
Is it really?
Yeah.
It's all coming together, baby.
For sure. I would love to record an episode with you on Canada Day and just smoke a big fat joint with you and giggle our asses off.
Awesome.
And be back to a moose. Turn that tight elk around.
Awesome.
Can I tell you about something cool that I learned while I was trying to avoid my mother in Newfoundland?
Yeah.
Okay. So the Swedish botanist Carl Linnaeus is the one who was responsible for first identifying cannabis sativa, cannabis L sativa. He also made a thing that I'd never heard of. Have you ever heard of the flower clock?
No.
Okay, so he was a Swedish botanist who obviously had an incredible garden, and he created a flower clock based on the times of day that various flowers opened and closed. So like, a morning glory would open at 8:30 in the morning and close at 3, and a rose would open at 10 in the morning and close at 5. And he made an actual full clock based on opening and closing times of various flowers. And I looked into it, and it's like, I don't know, I just thought it was the neatest thing in the world.
Is it shaped like a clock where a certain type of flower is at each number? Or is it the idea behind if this flower opens and closes, that's how we know what time? Either way, this is fucking incredible.
So I'll just read a little bit about it. It was a garden plan that would take advantage of several plants that open or close their flowers at particular times of the day to accurately indicate the time. He discovered and developed the floral clock in 1748, building on the fact that there are species that open their close at set times of day, proposed the concept, and then he described how various flowers would like have different I'm just repeating myself, but anyway, basically I just wanted to talk about the flower clock because I was like,
fucking awesome.
I've never heard of it, and I thought it was so beautiful and cool that you could like, so here's a list of some flowers. There's goat's beard opens at 3 a.m. for instance. The false sow thistle opens at 6 a.m. Spotted cat's ear opens at 6 a.m. A white water lily opens at 7 a.m. And then it also has closing times for all of these. I don't know. I just thought it was so beautiful that you could build an entire clock based on what time flowers open and close. And I wanted to nerd out about it with you.
It's fucking gorgeous.
Isn't that cool?
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the way that you're holding your heart as you were saying it is real. That's a real deal situation.
I just thought it was nice.
Oh, that's so cool. So you look out there and somebody's like, Mary Jane, what time is it?
And I'm like, ooh, the mouse ear hawkweed is open, but the scarlet pimpernel is closed. So it must be 11:45.
Oh, that's fucking cool. That's so cool. I'm late. How do you know?
Well, the hawkweed isn't open, but the Iceland poppy is blooming. Oh, fuck.
Fuck, I gotta go. That's amazing.
The fucking planet is amazing. I think that's one thing that I was really thinking about too when I was home, because my dad is so present in the house that I grew up in, and all of his stuff up in his study and his notes, and how he observed the world, and my sister too, and just missing both of them and thinking about how they were so connected to the earth, and I feel so connected to them when I am in nature, and how important that is. And just constantly reminding myself of that, like that's where I feel best and happiest. And I just saw a post from Symbiote, I think is the handle. A great follow. If you follow Oakland Hyphae.
Is this on Instagram?
Yeah, after our interview with Reggie Harris, go check out some of the people that Reggie also follows. And I think it's pronounced Symbiote. But anyway, great follow on Instagram. Another mushroom activist was talking about how they have winnowed their time down on social media to like 15 minutes a day, because the information feed that is coming into our brains on a daily basis is like thousands of times what our grandparents would have had.
Oh, wow.
The amount of information and data that is actually coming into our eyes from looking at computers and smartphones is literally thousands of times what we were set up to process just as like animals.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think like that something in that just is making me really, right now, especially at this crazy fucking time in the world, just like put down the fucking screens, get out into the nature, go for the big hike.
100%.
All that stuff.
And it's making you feel great.
So much healthier, so much better.
Cool. Because I saw you on the beach a lot. I know you were posting about it on Instagram. I'm not coming at you for that.
Totally, though. I totally was.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
I did post on Instagram that I was on the beach.
Yeah,
yes.
But it also looked beautiful, and your dog looked happy. Our very special guest last episode. So
Yes.
there was that makes me think of two things. One is I do feel like the symbiotic relationship between man and machine is coming, and I might not see it in my lifetime, but we will be Neuralinked. We will have machines inside of us. Like
I think
we
we
will
already
be.
do. I think
know,
we're there.
I know. But like I think it's like well beyond whatever is now, and so I do feel like there is something. I'm kind of excited about it because it feels inevitable. Where it's like all those thousands of gigabytes of data coming in are also building our brains in a way that is going to be able to combined with machines in a way that otherwise maybe the machine would take control. Like, as far as our evolution, as our mind is concerned, I do think that it's happening. So our generational brains coming down the line will be able to handle all of that so much better than us, because it is what it is.
Okay.
You know? And so like when we do have that chip in our fucking lobe and a, you know, scanner in our eye and a laser pointer in our index finger, our genetic makeup will be ready to handle that. That's
Okay.
my hope.
It's good hope to have.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah.
You'll find me inside a tree. I mean, I guess I'll be dead by then anyway, because it's like, yeah.
No, but like,
long
you know,
from now,
yeah.
long, far, far away time.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you shouldn't, you know, write calligraphy poems in a tree,
I'm
but
just
I am
gonna
saying,
eat mushrooms inside a tree. And yeah.
well, maybe that should be a federal regulation when it comes to like man-machine symbiotic relationships. Is that like 1 month a year, all machines are shut down, and you have to eat a handful of mushrooms and hang it outside.
Yeah.
You know, like there has to be like government
be-
regulation of like nature acceptance.
Right. Yeah. It would be a positive version of the purge.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Once.
Everyone has to swallow a heroic dose of mushrooms. Go the fuck outside.
Yep, your fucking retina scan is turned off, and you're gonna have to look at the world breathe.
Mushroom day. Love it.
We should write
I
that.
support it. Yes,
Yeah.
we should.
Instead of the purge, it's called the surge.
Yes.
Yeah,
Love it.
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 month, no machines. All machines are shut down.
1 month? 1 month a year sounds even better than 1 day.
I think 1 month.
How about just all the time?
Ah, I see what you're doing.
How about just permanently get rid of all machines? Oh, fuck.
There was also a theory. It's not even a good theory. Yeah, I'll say it.
Okay.
When I used to listen to the Nerdist podcast, Chris Hardwick's podcast, it was like one of those first podcasts that ever came out. It was like him and Mark Maron, and so it was all these celebrities, and I was in, I think, I can't remember what year of college it was, but I'd never seen a celebrity before, and I'm hearing two celebrities talk, and something Chris Hardwick said that I always thought was interesting was because of how many screens we're looking at all the time and how much light is getting in there, there was this guy who hypothesized that those big pictures of aliens that you see in black lights with the big eyes and the long things are actually us millions of years from now, because the eyes are so big to take in all of the light and information in all of those screens at one time, and slowly but surely, possibly our eyes are getting wider and elongating to accept the world, the screen world that is around us and is inescapable.
Sure.
I don't know. I always think about that as
Yeah.
like a possible inevitability.
Yeah. Have you seen AI?
The movie?
The Spielberg movie?
I've actually never seen it.
Oh yeah. There's a whole thing about that at the end.
No shit.
Yeah, kind of, if I remember correctly.
AI is the one.
Haley Joel Osment.
Yes.
Yeah, and Jude Law as an android. It's actually really good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Can I watch it sober?
No.
Oh.
I mean, I would say that for any movie, you know. Gotta be high. Sorry, Mike.
I know.
It's dry June with no movies.
No movies.
Yeah.
This is the time for me to go outside as well then.
You should go outside. Yeah.
Word. Okay. I see what you're doing. I'm falling for it left and right.
Oh man. Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about some wonderful stuff that's going on for Pride, because there are some friends of the pod that I just wanted to shout out, especially Stone Road. So we're a big fan of Stone Road Cannabis, and they are celebrating Pride Month by giving back with a limited edition pre-roll collection. And this is just so great. They've got this limited edition line of 3 pre-rolls in 3 flavors called Drag Brunch, Sugar Zaddy, and Grinder and Chill. And the proceeds are going to support queer youth through a group called New Alternatives NYC. 10% of their June profits are going to support the group, which is committed to reducing homelessness amongst LGBTQ plus youth in New York City by addressing areas critical to their well-being, including housing, employment, education, and physical and mental health. So if you are anywhere where you can pick up some Stone Road, check out their Love is Love Pride pre-roll collection.
That's
They're just
awesome.
And they also have just beautiful artwork to go along with it. They hired creatives to make this whole campaign around the Love is Love collection, and the artwork is gorgeous. Check out their Instagram. Stone Road, they've got the best cannabis too. All of their products are delicious.
They are. And it's, man, I remember the first place I moved to after Koreatown. in like mid Hollywood, and at that time they were building the LGBTQ AI plus center because homelessness was so rampant. I think it was amongst the trans community, just like anybody who's not a straight white dude like me at large, and the homelessness was fucking crazy. And now that place is built, and there's like a safe place for all of these people to go. So like, yo, if you can support a place like Stone Road who is doing those things, man, homelessness is probably like one of my number one voting policy issues. It is fucking heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a crisis.
Yeah.
That needs to be addressed. Absolutely. So it's amazing that Stone Road is giving 10% back to NYC Alternatives with this. And I also just wanted to shout out another brand that is doing some work for visibility for the queer community with a campaign, Can. The infused beverage paired up with Weed Maps, and they released this like star-studded campaign with a video with like Patricia Arquette. It was so wild because we just most recently saw her in Severance as Mrs. Cobell, and then here she is in this video looking fucking fierce and amazing in pink latex, and Sarah Michelle Gellar, and a bunch of drag performers from RuPaul's Drag Race, and it's just a really cool, fun, poppy video, and it's just bringing, you know, visibility to the the fact that Can is a queer-founded brand, and you know they're shouting out pride with this track that's called "Taste So Good." So check it out; it's a lot of fun.
Cool. So support Can as well.
Well, I don't know. Like they're supporting the gay community. I don't know exactly what they're doing as far as proceeds go for, you know, giving back. Like,
I have to imagine they're doing quite a bit.
Yeah. They're definitely promoting their super fun new flavors. They've got a bunch of, like, they released new flavors with this video, with Can Light, which is I'm sure delicious because I love their regular line. They've got honeydew mint, cloudy apple, rhubarb, tangerine, hops, and golden citrus bark.
Oh, those are summer sips.
They sound great, and the music video is really fun, and it's like, you know, just great for Pride.
Fucking cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Really nice.
And then I also wanted to direct everyone's attention, if you want to read some interesting writing about the connection between the modern marijuana movement and LGBTQ culture, there is an article on gentlemantoker.com written by my butt of the week, who I'll get to in a second, about celebrating the connection between cannabis culture and the LGBTQ plus movement.
Before you dive into it, link in the show description.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah, we'll link it. And, just about how, you can trace modern marijuana activism all the way back to the 60s and 70s, and the hippies in NorCal, and Brownie Mary, who gave her medicated brownies to AIDS patients, and Dennis Barone, who was the gay activist, who was really the main person who was the drive between Proposition 215, which was the nation's first medical marijuana law. And so it's an interesting look going all the way back to that, and just sort of tracing the connections through the 80s all the way up to today.
Is Dennis Perone instrumental in legalization, but it started with HIV and AIDS patients?
So Dennis Perone was the founder of the first medical marijuana dispensary, the San Francisco, I believe it was called the San Francisco Compassionate Care Club. So he was, taking care of his community, the gay community in San Francisco during the AIDS crisis, as well as Mary Jane Rathbun, who was Brownie Mary, but giving her medicated brownies to patients. They were both arrested numerous times and raided, and they just went to bat for their community to provide relief through cannabis. So yeah, absolutely instrumental. And then, one of the architects of Prop 215, and also a supporter. Dennis Perone supported Prop 64. He died soon after it went into effect. But it wouldn't be, we wouldn't have the movement that we have today without Dennis Perone.
Wow.
Or the gay community in general. Yeah.
Yeah. Read the article.
Yeah, I'll link that. I mean, there's so many resources to read about all of the work that the gay community has done for medical marijuana and the current modern cannabis community. But this is the most recent one that I'm really proud to shout out because it's really well done.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I like how weed-centric this episode is.
Yeah.
We're really digging into things that we care about when it comes to the canna community. I'm very fucking happy with that. Well, should we get to Buds of the Week then?
Absolutely.
Okay, do you want to just roll right in because
Yeah.
it's directly tied to that Gentleman Toker article?
Yes, it is. My Bud of the Week is the author of this article, Blick, who goes by Pleasant Pheasant on Instagram. It's at pleasant.pheasant.dc. Blick is a canna journalist and brand designer. Their handle on Gentleman Toker is Cyrus Montana. And Blick is a great follow on IG, and you can check out their articles on Gentleman Toker. And just proud to continue to work with Blick and other awesome people, both at Gentleman Toker and in the gay community at large. Like it's since working at High Times many years ago, and I realized there was that connection, and like so much of the compassionate care that was happening with cannabis was about and for the LGBTQ community. I think that's just something that I have always been committed to, like continuing to make sure that like we talk about, and
right.
that all of the people like you and me, like the straight white people who continue to benefit from weed, like continue, like point back at it and keep moving it forward and saying like these are the people. This is a huge reason, this community is a huge reason that we have what we have. And so when the suits come in and the corporations show up, that representation and a stake in the profits should go to the communities who have used it and moved it forward first and foremost, including, the LGBTQ community and obviously all the communities of color.
You make me think of if there was a real weed museum, like this would be the Tyrannosaurus, right? Like this would be the T-Rex in the middle of the place, because this is like the most important part
I don't know if
of
it
the
would
museum.
be a T-Rex, but something.
I know it's a bad example, and I know what I'm comparing, but I think like if there was like a weed history museum,
right?
This is
it would
what
be
should
the
be at the
central
center.
exhibit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I knew before I said it that it would be poor as an example, but I know what I mean by it.
Yeah, it would be the central. I mean, it would be the hall that you would walk through to get to everything else.
Right. Exactly.
I think you're totally right in that. Like, yeah, if we were to walk into the weed museum, you go through like the 3,000 years ago and 2,000 years ago, and then into modern activism. Like this is the hall we find ourselves in. It started with the gay community in California and elsewhere, and they are why we have what we have as far as marijuana legalization goes. Yeah.
Fucking cool. Great Bud of the Week.
And happy fucking Pride, everyone.
Happy fucking Pride, everyone. My Bud of the Week this week is on Twitter at Go1Ask1Alice. The ones are the number. Go1Ask1Alice. Man, I'll tell you what. I'll just read it. This is for my 300th episode. Congrats to my Smoke Sesh Dream team. Happy for you both. We've been through a lot together. I was privileged to be a Bud of the Week in the early days, struggling to be an advocate in Texas. Now, cancer-free to be me in Colorado. Laughed much, learned much, cried a little, love the videos. Happy 300. Yo, go one, ask one, Alice. Thank you for being a Hall of Fame Bud.
Yeah.
And that even feels a little bit like not enough. Just thank you.
Thanks for rocking with us.
Thank you for rocking with us. Fucking cancer free. Heck yes.
Fucking amazing. That's a hell of a journey, and big fucking hugs and awesome. And thank you for sharing that too.
Truly. And I hope you are finding whatever weed it was that I was smoking in Colorado is also in your pocket and on your dresser and in your living room, because ooh-wee. Shout out Colorado. And Texas, we'll get there. And then maybe the three of us will smoke in Texas together. Like that would be a nice little roundabout way of saying like yeehaw, yeehaw.
Yeah, or we'll just never go to Texas again and only smoke in Colorado. Because fuck that place. Like
I do know.
Fuck that place right now a lot, and not fuck the people who live in Texas who feel like misrepresented by the fucking dickwads who are in power, but fuck that place. They are rescinding rights. They are fighting against trans rights. They are fighting against reproductive rights. They are fighting against your rights. So if you live in Texas, fucking vote, because fuck that and fuck those people, and you deserve better. You deserve access to fucking great weed, both medicinal and fucking adult use. You deserve access to legal abortions. You deserve access to fucking safety for your children if they're trans. You deserve, medical help if you're trans. Like, no, Texas, just a big slap on the fucking bonk on the nose with some newspaper for those fuckwads.
Fucking right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad that Alice, as our butt of the week, has like opened that up for you to fucking shout it at the top of your lungs.
Yeah,
damn right, Mary Jane.
You know, I don't know. It feels like crazy because it's I feel like they're doing a great job of getting us so mad that we don't know what to talk about, you know, and then you get sort of paralyzed. So sorry, the whole game's spilling out. Anyway,
That's what it's for.
yeah, that's what we're here for, I guess. Thanks for that.
You want to go eat some Canadian candy?
Yeah, I brought home so much Canadian chocolate. So this tight elk would be well served by finishing with some coffee crisp.
All right, let me get you a coffee crisp as
Thanks.
we wind out.
We have so many, thank you, great things coming up. We have just booked a couple of really exciting guests to be in the Top Tree studio with us. And we are going to be banking some hot eps because Mike is going to be on tour in some cool fucking places this summer. Can
I hit some dates?
Yeah, let's wrap on that.
As we hit these dates and these plugs for ourselves, again, I just want to say, Alice, congratulations and thank you so much, and love you. And you brought home a bunch of chocolate from Montreal, and what are you having? What am I having? And I'll pull up my dates.
I'm having a coffee crisp, which is a surprisingly not very coffee-like, but very crispy little Canadian chocolate that I love. It was my choice always when I was able to buy a full-size chocolate bar when I was a kid because it felt grown up. Because the coffee aspect, I was like, oh, I'm so fancy. It's delicious.
And you introduced me to my very first turtle ever. This might be my new top choice. Twix may have fallen in the ranks. I hate to say it, but I don't hate to say it enough not to. Turtle might be my new number one chocolate. Twix number 2. All others number 3.
Say what it is.
A turtle is a classic. I love that there's French and...
You're like, how do I read it?
Yeah, well, I almost read the French, and I was like, oh, I'm not getting canceled for that.
It's caramel with pecans coated in chocolate in like a kind of like they're like little, they look like turtles because of the nuts inside. They like little lumpy kind of enrobed, caramel and nuts enrobed in chocolate.
Since 1949, Canadians have loved the irresistible combination of silky smooth caramel and crunchy pecans draped in rich chocolate. Yep, truth. So thank you for all of this Canadian deliciousness. Also, I will say, I'm so excited to go to Scotland because you were saying that the candy game over there is out of control in Europe. All American candy, I think it might suck. It all just tastes like sugar, and this tastes like delicious chocolate, and this tastes like delicious pecans and caramel. I'll tell you what, you're opening up my chocolate mind.
Yeah,
in ways that I never expected.
You're gonna flip your American wig when you're in the UK. You're gonna lose. Yeah. Oh man. I'm telling you.
As someone who's addicted to sugar and loves to feed that addiction,
you're going to be astonished at the amount of fruit and nuts that they can fit into one little chocolate bar. It's gonna blow your mind. I'm very excited. Also, where do we find weed in Edinburgh? Get at us, people.
Please get at us.
We need help because we can't travel with that shit. So
we can't, and I'm not doing dry August in Scotland performing every night.
Yeah.
No.
Hit us up.
Hit it. Mm-hmm.
Tell us where.
6/9 is what is that, Thursday?
Yes.
Thursday I have 3 shows in LA, 7:30, 8, and 10. I'm not going to say the locations. If you're in LA, go to my link tree in my Instagram. I'm in San Diego on the 10th, and then I'm in Tucson and Tempe on June 24th and 25th as part of the Gateway Show. I'll be headlining those shows. So if you're in Arizona, 1, come to the Gateway Show. It's a great show. 2, come smoke with me and then watch me perform stoned out of my mind. Oh, yep. That's the only exception to dry June.
Okay.
Gateway Show on the 24th and 25th.
Okay. So you just have to break it a little early.
I got to do my job.
Yeah.
It's my job.
It is your job. Damn it. What a great job.
What a great job. And then on the 9th of July, I'm going to be headlining in Alaska to bring in 710 Oil Day.
Land of the Midnight Sun.
I cannot wait.
Yeah.
I'm going to smoke with a moose.
It's going to be...
I'm going to get that moose loose.
It's going to be a loose moose under the midnight sun. It's going to be light. You know, it's not going to be dark at all.
Good.
Yeah.
I want to go for 72 hours in Alaska. I love that place.
Great. Dry June and then break yourself. Great.
And then if you happen to be overseas or you want to come overseas, I'm going to be performing in Scotland all of the month of August. And I think you're going to come through and kick it over there with me as well for a bit, right?
Oh man, I'm so excited. Yeah, I've got a whole plan. I think I'm going to fly via Iceland.
Ooh.
And then I'm going to go to Amsterdam.
Ooh.
So please come with me.
To Amsterdam?
Yes.
Can you... I'm a little ashamed that I haven't been. As somebody who is who he is, Amsterdam is important.
No shame. Let's go.
Okay, you're right. Yeah, it's never too late to learn and grow. But
Yeah.
Amsterdam is so important.
We'll cycle around canals. We'll look at art, and we will go to all the coffee houses. And I mean, listen, there's nothing like getting super fucking baked and going to the Vondel Park and seeing parrots. It's wild. Yeah. Uh-oh, he ate a turtle, and now his mouth is stuck shut.
It's so good. Oh, it's so good. Maybe that's the thing we should end on too. Let me know what your popcorn eating techniques are. And if you have any suggestions in Europe, I'm learning about that you can take a train anywhere for $50. Flights are cheap from city to city for, $100 or pounds or euros. So, if you have any things that you're like, I love this food, you got to go eat here, you got to go see this, please hit me with all of them, because this feels like maybe not a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, but this does feel like I want to make the most of it because I've never had the opportunity to do this before.
Yeah, it's a first.
Yeah.
A bunch of firsts.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
So, there you go.
Well, thanks for this moose, Mike. This was fun, like doing this in my living room with Archie snoozing at our feet and a tight elk.
Yeah.
It was great.
I'll get better. I'll get better.
301. We'll both get better. We'll both get better. This
I'm just
is our journey,
so used
man.
to like fucking getting ripped for these babies.
I mean, I've gotten every shade of ripped, and sometimes it's great and sometimes it's not. And I had a great time today. So thank you.
Right on.
And we love you all. Happy Pride to all of you. And we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Bye.